Elena Larson, once again visiting with Dr. Ken Larson. Today we'll be looking at an approach to relationships that Dr. Glasser calls the solving circle. Good day, Dr. Larson. I'm looking forward to learning more about this solving circle.
Yes, I remember the first time I read choice theory and came across Dr. Glasser's description of the solving circle. It immediately got my attention. I could see clearly how useful and insightful it is. Just the concept that there are three entities in our relationship seems remarkably profound. I can see you're a bit puzzled by the three entities statement. Let me help. In any relationship, there are the two people involved, and then Dr. Glasser points to the fact that there is a third partner, so to speak, and that is the relationship itself. So the aim of the solving circle is to get people to think in terms of what is good for the relationship. When each person is trying to control the other to get what they want, the relationship suffers and may even die. When each of the persons looks to what is good for the relationship, it is more likely that the relationship will survive, and both parties have a better chance of getting what they want through their connection in the relationship.
I've heard you mention that Dr. Glasser believes that unhappiness is the primary manifestation of mental illness. So although there is no shortage of people potentially available for relationships, many people still find themselves disconnected and lonely. Is there some underlying reason for all this unhappiness and loneliness?
Let me take one point at a time. The unhappiness that people experience is often, if not usually, the result of being disconnected from the people we need to get our needs met. We have an innate need for love and belonging, and when that need is not met, we are unhappy. The reason people find themselves disconnected from needed relationships is because of one person usually trying to control the other to do what the other person wants them to do, but what the person being controlled doesn't want to do. This is what Dr. Glasser has labeled external control psychology. And he maintains this is the major cause of most of the unhappiness, loneliness, and misery that affects so many people today.
That is interesting. Can you say more about this external control psychology?
A light example of this external control often occurs when one person has discovered what is right for himself. Then it is, if it's right for me, it must be right for you. So I'm going to do whatever I can to get you to do what I know is right for you because it's right for me. For example, I've discovered that I prefer ketchup on my hot dog. I see you reaching for the mustard. I intervene and tell you that ketchup is the best condiment for your hot dog. This is where it gets interesting. Do the two of you get into a power struggle over ketchup versus mustard? Or does the mustard lover cave in to the ketchup lover? In either case, the relationship is strained because of this control. A more serious example is what we see reported regularly regarding militant religious groups coercing or killing the people they consider unbelievers who do not hold with their religious views.
Let me see if I understand what you are saying. People drive each other apart by trying to control one another?
That's correct. How close can you be with a person who has proclaimed he will kill you if you don't believe the way he believes? How close can you be with the ketchup lover if all you want is some nice mustard on your hot dog and you really are tired of being preached to of the superior qualities of ketchup over mustard?
What if one person is convinced he or she is right and the other is wrong?
Isn't that the situation on a broader scale with militant religious groups? It seems that we have had that sort of problem for centuries. The Crusades and the pogroms and the Holocaust and the militant groups in the Middle East currently, they've all been set on destroying those who do not believe as they do. This does not mean that we have to surrender our beliefs. It does, however, point to the destruction that results when we try to force others to accept our beliefs. There are standards of morality and behavior that enable us to function as a reasonably well-ordered society, but this is not the right and wrong that I believe we are talking about here between two people. It is more the kind of I'm right that we vacation in the mountains, and you are wrong because you want to go to the beach. That sort of thing needs to be examined in the light of what is best for the relationship and negotiated to an arrangement that is workable for both parties.
So according to Glasser, the issue isn't so much who is right and who is wrong, but what is best for the relationship?
That is it exactly. If two people want to make a relationship work, each has to give a little to get what they want and need, which is the love and belonging that is available in a loving relationship.
The solving circle sounds like an interesting idea. Can you give us some more details on how it works?
The circle part comes from an imaginary circle drawn around the two parties. It is pointed out to them that there are three entities in the circle. Usually there's some discussion until both parties realize that the third entity is their relationship. Once there is a realization that there is a relationship in the circle along with the two people that make up the couple, a simple set of questions are asked that focus the couple on solving the issues that have become a problem in the relationship. These questions follow a pattern that focuses attention on a solution. The questions are: 1. Are you here because you really want help to stay together and work out the relationship? 2. Briefly, what do you think is wrong with the relationship? 3. Whose behavior can you control? 4. Tell me one good thing about the marriage as it exists right now. 5. Think of something you're willing to do this coming week that you believe will help your relationship. Whatever it is, it must be something you can do yourself. It must not depend in any way on what your partner should or should not do. And then 6, during the coming week, are you willing to try to think of an additional thing besides what you thought of here? And then do it, following the same I can control only what I do condition as in the previous question.
That seems very insightful to me. The couple acknowledge what is not working in their relationship, but they also look at what is good about the relationship. Seeing the relationship as a separate entity seems like a useful way to grow together without getting into the blame game.
You've got it. This shifts the focus not just to the other, but to the relationship itself. So it's not giving in to the other or blaming the other, it's finding a way that both can benefit within the circle of the relationship itself. And this shift in focus brings each to the place of recognizing that they cannot control the other to get what they want.
That has to be a key to this whole process, recognizing that they can only control their own behavior.
This is sometimes hard, especially when each is into the if-onlys. If only he or she would do or not do, then I would be happy. This is a dead end.
I like that idea of asking yourself if this is helping or hurting the relationship and putting that concern ahead of one's own personal wants. But does that mean that they each have to give up what they want?
No. As the couple work through these principles and apply choice theory, they come to the place of negotiating their differences so that each can get what they want. As you have noticed, the override on this negotiation process is the good of the relationship. Each has to give a little to get what is wanted while respecting the wants of the other in the process.
As you've worked with people using the solving circle, have you seen any immediate change in the quality of the relationship?
What often happens is a sort of wake-up when they each realize that they can only control their own behavior. The other pivotal moment is when they each hear the other say what is good about the relationship. It often brings them both back to what brought them together in the first place. This mutual realization that the other sees something good in the relationship is often a very tender, even misty moment.
How about long term? What have you seen in follow-up visits?
There's a cliche used in AA: progress, not perfection. Rarely do we see a complete turnaround in the short term. There are still challenges to be overcome, usually the result of past experiences intruding on the present process. If the couple actually applies these principles, progress is usually the result. Another AA cliche is it works if you work it.
I find it hard to believe that all problems in a relationship simply go away by using this technique. Can you comment on that?
I found that the couple involved in working the solving circle bring to the circle different ways of seeing the world and their relationship. A classic example of this is the old fable of the blind man and the elephant. Each of the blind men encountered a part of the elephant. The problem came when each of them tried to convince the rest of them that their individual experience of the elephant was the right one. As two people come together to work on a relationship, they need to come to a place of sharing their worldview with the other. Each of them listens and seeks to understand without judgment. There are still differences, but the effort to understand the other's point of view goes a long way to help as they work through these differences. I use the word effort advisedly. There is time and energy and work involved in making progress. Just knowing what needs to be done simply is not enough. Dr. Glasser tells us that each of us have what he calls quality world pictures in our mind. These pictures symbolically represent what we believe will help us meet our needs. These quality world pictures are part of the perceived world of each of us. In a loving relationship, sharing these quality world pictures goes a long way to bringing the couple closer together, helping them each meet the quality world pictures of the other. These pictures usually represent the people's, things, values, and belief systems that are believed to be needs satisfying. For a couple, each of them has a picture of the other in this quality world. So working together to satisfy those pictures builds a solid foundation for this relationship.
Thank you for your candor in pointing out these limitations. It's wise to recognize that just knowing about a tool doesn't necessarily mean we can use it effectively.
Elena, that is an excellent summary statement. My purpose with this series has been to bring an awareness of choice theory and its application to real-life situations. My hope is that further reading, study, and practice will follow. Formal programs are available starting with the basic training session sponsored by the Glasser Institute. A highly skilled and qualified senior faculty member from the Institute leads these sessions. Further information is available. Just send me an email to drkenlarson@gmail.com and I'll help you get what you want.
Thank you, Dr. Larson, for going over this material with us. It gives us a useful perspective on helping people with relationships. I look forward to our next discussion. This is Elena Larson, signing off.